Good afternoon. Good afternoon. Welcome to the Mahogany Circle of Hope podcast. My name is Ameedah Hasan. I am one of the co hosts, and my lovely co host with me is Miss Gloria Bryant.
Hello, everyone. Thanks for joining us, and we hope you enjoy the cat podcast.
Thank you, Gloria. And our guest today is Cindy Miller. Would you like to say hello also?
Yes, hello. Hello, everyone. My name is Cindy. I'm with Cancer Pathways. I'm happy to be here.
Thank you, Cindy.
You.
We are excited about the information you're going to share with us today. We usually start out with Mahogany's mission. Mahogany Circle of Hope is a cancer support group in Tacoma, Washington. Our mission for our podcast, the Mahogany Circle of Hope show, is to uplift, inform, empower cancer survivors as they navigate life beyond their diagnosis. We create a safe and inspiring space where stories of resilience meet expert guidance on healing physically, emotionally, and spiritually. Through heartfelt conversations, practical wellness strategies, and a community first approach, we aim to support survivors in reclaiming their vitality, rediscovering their joy, thriving in their new chapter of their life. We are also dedicated to information and resources to promote healthy communities, different topics, different guests on our show. So today we are excited to have Cindy Miller from Cancer Pathway. Welcome, welcome, welcome.
Thank you.
So we'll get right into our interview, and we're excited about receiving your information. Gloria, you want to get us going this
Yeah,
afternoon?
yeah, Cindy. Thank you again for being on our show. You can we get you to tell us a little bit about yourself?
Yeah, absolutely. So my name is Cindy and I work with Cancer Pathways. I am the South Sound Program Manager. Cancer Pathways works, we operate out of Seattle, but we do work mostly within the state of Washington. I do a lot of the implementation here in the South Sound region. So I bring our cancer education and support programs to Pierce, Thurston, and Mason counties, and sometimes further into southwestern Washington.
Hmm.
I have a Bachelor of Science in Nutrition, and I have a Master of Public Health from Eastern Washington University. I've been with Cancer Pathways for about 2 years, and prior to that, I worked in inpatient nutrition and I did some classroom teaching. So I got into this space of health and health education from having a personal experience of poor health, though not specific to cancer. So I know that being in poor health can really impact other aspects of your life, not just your body. It
Hmm.
reduces your quality of life, it changes your relationships, your energy levels, your enthusiasm. You're nodding your heads. I'm sure you know exactly what I'm talking about.
Hmm.
Everything, yes.
Yeah.
Hmm. Yeah.
So it was really my obsession with feeling better that led me down the path of learning about health and working in the space of cancer support and health education. So I don't think anyone should have to suffer in their health, but if they do, they shouldn't have to do it alone. So that's really what
Hmm.
we do at Cancer Pathways. We provide health education and then support after a diagnosis for anyone that's been impacted by cancer.
We were just wondering, what is the mission? What is the Cancer Pathway mission?
So, our mission is to provide pathways of support. So, that's where our name comes from, pathways of support, education, and community to anyone that's facing cancer, whether it's before, during, or after a cancer experience. So, it's our belief and what fuels our work that no one should have to go through cancer alone. So, a value that we share with you at Mahogany Circle of Hope is that we try to bring some of the joy and humor back into life after a difficult health experience.
Yeah, that's
Great.
so needed.
Awesome. Awesome.
Amita?
When did the organization begin?
So we started as a Gilda's Club Seattle. I don't know if you've ever heard of Gilda's Club,
Hmm.
named after Gilda Radner. So Gilda's Club, it's a cancer support program that operates out of like multiple locations in the US. So there was a Gilda's Club Chicago, for example, Gilda's Club New York. We used to be Gilda's Club Seattle. So we started that work in 2001, doing cancer support. And then we changed our name to Cancer Pathways in 2016. And then over the last 20 plus years, we've grown beyond cancer support and survivorship. And now we do things like Camp for Children impacted by cancer. We have education programs, tobacco cessation support, and our programming just expands and gets bigger every year. So we try to do any and all education and support for people impacted by cancer.
Oh,
Okay.
great.
Oh,
Yeah.
that's great. I see you partnership with Fred Hutch. Is that true? Can you
Yes.
speak on that? Okay.
Yeah. So we actually partner with Fred Hutch on a lot of things. So, I mean, they refer out to us for things like camp and support groups, for
Mm-hmm.
example, but we also partner with them on community engagement and outreach projects through their OCOE grant program. So our current project with them is an HPV initiative that aims to educate medically underserved communities around Washington about the HPV virus, the cancers it causes, and the vaccine. So our goal with that project is to eventually have this e-learning course available to any classroom. So rural classrooms,
Mm.
urban classrooms, it doesn't matter what kind of resources they have. We want every classroom to have access to HPV information, to help teach young people about the risks of the HPV virus and then how to prevent cancers that are related to that virus. We've
Absolutely.
also previously we've done an initiative with Fred Hutch called Sunset, and that stands for Sun Safety Education and Training, which is aimed at skin cancer prevention for people of color. So we know that BIPOC communities have rising rates of skin cancer, and
Mm-hmm.
they're more likely to believe that skin cancer is not going to happen to them.
Mm-hmm.
So we had an education initiative on that topic, and then we still have those resources available on our website. So we do partner with them frequently on a lot of things, and we have pretty solid connections with them. Those are just, a couple of examples of some of the work that we've done with them.
That's awesome. That's
Great.
awesome.
Yeah.
Gloria?
So what programs do you offer, cost, insurance? What,
Um, yeah, so good question. Because we are a nonprofit, all of our programs are free of any associated costs. So everything that we do is free. We do appreciate donations whenever possible to help us continue providing free support and education. But of course, it's always free. There's no cost. There's no dollar signs attached to anything that we do. So most of what we do can be divided into two categories. So we've got the education and the prevention side, and then we have support after a diagnosis. So
Mm-hmm.
two different areas. We don't want to say like pre-cancer, but like someone who's never had a diagnosis and then after a diagnosis.
Right,
So
right.
relevant to the community that you serve, we have a lot of support groups. So our current support groups, we have bereavement, caregivers, living with advanced cancer, because that's going to be different from other types of cancer. We have survivorship, and then we also have what's called our best medicine group. Best Medicine, it's a support group that's done like an improv comedy group that uses humor to process grief. The facilitator of that group is a licensed social worker who's also a comedian. So it's a really popular support group, and I think that's something that makes us a little
Could,
bit different than some of the other cancer organizations.
Cindy, could you give me the title again of the comedy with the comedy? What's
It's
the
called
title of the
Best
program?
Medicine. It's called Best Medicine.
Best medicine.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, they say laughter is
Right. Yeah, that's why we
the
call it
best
Best
medicine.
Medicine Group.
Okay.
Yeah.
That is creative. That's
Yes.
creative.
Yeah, so it's a really popular group. It has a long wait list, and the facilitator, like I mentioned, he is a licensed social worker. He also used to be a writer for Saturday Night Live.
Oh,
So
really? For
yeah,
real?
yes, yeah. So that's
Oh, okay.
how he kind of brings in that humor element. He does
Hmm.
actually have the experience to kind of bring those two elements together. So yeah, it's
Okay.
something
how,
unique that we have.
if someone wanted to get on this support um, site, how do they go by doing it? Do you just go online and John, I hear you were saying there's a long list.
Yeah, so you could go to I can provide all of these links
Okay.
at the end and then help you
Okay.
and your community connect to this. So it's cancerpathways.org, and then you can go to the support tab, and then there will
Mhm.
be an intake form. And then once someone fills out that intake form, one of the social workers will contact them and then help them to actually get connected with that group, with that support group that they're hoping to get connected with.
That's creative. Now you say you got a long waiting list for that. I can see why. If you're
Yeah.
using comedy for, healing,
Yeah.
as support. Wow. That's awesome. Um,
Are the other ones that you guys have?
So the other support groups, it changes
Is
often
that
based on
on
the
the
needs of our community. I'm sorry, go
is
ahead.
that on the site also?
Yes, of course. Yeah.
Okay.
So our current
All right.
support groups will be on the website as well. And then also, not just support groups, we also have a mindfulness art therapy group twice a month. So
hmm,
that's something that's been going on for a while. It is on Zoom, so it's not limited to anyone that's in the
Uh-huh.
Seattle area. Anyone is welcome to join. And then we have regular community education events for people living with cancer and cancer survivors. So, for example, we recently had an education event at our clubhouse in Seattle on clinical trials. So, for anyone experiencing cancer, that's an opportunity for them to learn about how to get started with a clinical trial. So, that recording is available on our YouTube channel if anyone, it's relevant information forevermore, So, if they weren't able to go, then they can access that information on our website.
that's awesome. Clinical trials is important too. We
Mhm.
Yeah,
tend
it
to
is.
shy away from that. But Gloria always says that the clinical trial, that's something that we really need to pay attention to, you
Mhm.
know. So you say that's on your YouTube. Okay, I'm gonna have to check that out. Yeah, that's awesome. That's
Yeah.
awesome.
And we're always looking for new ideas about
Mm-hmm.
other webinars and community education events.
Mm-hmm.
So, I'll mention this at the end too, but if anyone out there, if you have ideas on like what kind of webinars we could do that would serve your community best based on your needs, we'd be interested in hearing from you.
Okay. All right.
Can you
Gloria.
speak a little bit on your team and youth support?
Yeah, so unfortunately, cancer doesn't discriminate, it impacts
That's for
even the
sure.
youngest of us. Yeah. So we do put a lot of work and effort into supporting young people that have been impacted by cancer. So when I do, um, a big part of my job is to do presentations in schools, like high schools and middle schools,
Mhm.
and talk to them about cancer risk. So I always ask at the start of the class if someone knows someone or knew someone with cancer. And in every classroom I go to, it is more than half of the students that raise their hands.
Mm-hmm.
And sometimes all of them, unfortunately. So we know that young people are being impacted, even if they don't
Mm-hmm.
receive a diagnosis themselves. So we do, make an effort to try to help out young people too. So one of our programs is the student education program, which I just mentioned I'm a big part of. So we talk about prevention and risk reduction, especially in ways that are relevant to them as young people. So yeah, like I mentioned, I go into high schools and middle schools. We don't usually go younger than middle schools because the information is a little
Yeah.
dense for them.
Mm-hmm.
And we
Mhm.
talk to them about like how cancer happens and then what steps they can take to reduce their cancer risk. So we talk about things like self-exams, genetic cancers, avoiding tobacco and alcohol, HPV
Mhm.
vaccination, things that are really specific to them. And then we also provide support for young people if they have actually been personally impacted by cancer. So occasionally we do have support groups for teens. I think we do have one going on now, but generally we find that teens are not that interested in support groups. Um,
Of course.
but yeah, it's hard, it's hard talking about it, and I
Well,
can't say I
yeah,
really,
it's hard for adults. So
yeah.
yeah, I can
Mm-hmm.
understand that.
Yeah.
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 Yeah. So we have
But
found that they're more likely to participate in our teen writing contest. It does give them
oh,
a little bit
uh-huh.
more privacy, more space to think about the words and what they want to say. And then they get to share their cancer experience through an essay. So we do this every year from November to February. And teens all over the country are invited to share their story about how
Oh,
cancer has
okay.
impacted them.
Great.
Yeah, so all over the country. And then every year we award 10 to 20 teens a $1,000 prize for their essays.
Right,
So
That's awesome.
yeah, and a lot of them use it for like a scholarship for college. Some of them use it to pay medical bills, which
Mm-hmm.
age
makes
are
me
there?
really sad, but they find this experience really valuable. We always get feedback from the writers that it helps them to find their voice and it helps them to process their grief around cancer.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Age
That's
limit
awesome.
for them to apply.
I'm sorry,
Mm-hmm.
What's the age?
high
How old
school.
do they have to be, or what's the cutoff age?
It's ninth through 12th grade, so high school age.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I wanted to ask you, what is Camp Sparkle?
So Camp Sparkle, that is another one of our youth support programs. So every year we do a week-long day camp in multiple locations around Washington. So Seattle is our original location, and that fills up every year. So right now we do have a wait list for that camp. And then this year we also have a camp in Woodinville, Bellevue, and Tacoma, in addition to Seattle. So this is for any kids that are impacted by cancer. So it could be their own diagnosis or a loved one's diagnosis. Unfortunately, some of them, they lost someone to cancer. So this camp, it does provide like some therapeutic activities for kids, and it is run by a licensed social worker, but mostly it's just an opportunity for them to just be kids again, like to just relax, to have fun again, and to do this around people that understand what they're going through. So
Is it
the
more
age,
like a day camp or is
yes,
it overnight? It's a day camp.
yes, yeah.
Okay.
From my understanding, like before my time, there was a time when it was an overnight camp, but that was really stressful, I guess children going through a cancer experience. I mean, it's tough, I wouldn't want
Mm-hmm.
them to be away from their parents either. So,
Right, right,
yeah, a day camp
right,
is better for everyone.
right, right.
I have another
Absolutely.
question, then I'm gonna turn it back over to Amita. Uh, how do you handle the teens, the teens that are involved with tobacco or vaping? Do you talk to them on that and how to prevent how this is a part of cancer also? It could be.
That is a big topic, right? Yes, wait, I could go on for a while about vaping and tobacco use.
The short version of
Okay.
it.
So, yeah, so vaping has definitely become a big problem among young
Right.
people, less so about cigarettes, more about vaping.
Vaping. Mhm.
Sometimes teachers, well, they'll tell me that students will even vape during class, which I think
Yeah.
is just wild.
Mm-hmm.
So what I get from the students is that vaping is a bigger problem than cigarette smoking because it's easier to hide, it doesn't smell like cigarettes do,
Mm-hmm.
and that it's easier to get, which is a little bit depressing.
Yeah.
But I mean, that just tells us, what we have to do, right? So we do nicotine cessation programs for both adults and teens because we do understand it is the number one risk factor for cancer. But most of the workshops we do are geared towards young people.
Mm-hmm.
So prevention is a big part of our general risk reduction presentation. And then we also have an e-learning course specifically on vaping, and that's for anyone. It doesn't have to be in a classroom. That's also on our website. And then, so we do also have these workshops for young people that have started smoking, both using the American Lung Association curriculum. So one of them is for students that were caught smoking in class or, caught smoking at school, and they can attend one of these workshops instead of getting suspended. So as an alternative to, other punishments that the school might do. And then we have this other workshop that we would do for students that have decided they're ready to quit, so there would be different types of workshops that are run in different ways. So we do understand that, I mean, smoking is a major determinant in someone's cancer risk. So we
Right,
try to
right,
really
right,
help young people understand that and to help them
right,
quit.
right. I'm since you're talking about the education of the teen, I would the formalities. When you dealing with, is this a on-site education at the school, or is this a after-school Because I know how they be, these restrictions. You have to give a consent form and all that. Do you still have to do that even with this type of education? With the kids?
It depends on the school, right? It always depends on like how the school determines they want to do these things. But the direction that we try to encourage it is during school hours. Because if it's outside of school hours, then, it feels like a punishment. And then when they're sitting there
Right,
listening
right,
to all this information,
right,
then they're less likely to listen and
right.
really absorb this information.
Right. Because I was just here thinking, now they got all these barriers, but this is information that they need. And I remember when I went to school, we did have a health class, and they did try to incorporate different information for us, but that's a long time ago. So you're updating me. How do you incorporate this preventative education for them? You
Yeah,
know,
so usually health teachers are, thrilled about our resources. When we come in and
that's
talk about
great.
cancer prevention and we tell them about our tobacco cessation programs, schools are usually really happy to hear about it. The
That's great.
challenge is usually time, like how do you fit this into in the half a year they have to talk about all of their health topics.
That's true. Okay, that's great. That's great. Um, Bereavement and support, like Gloria was, we were talking about earlier. Do you have a specific course or a class or highlights or tools that the everyday person, like me and Gloria, that we can use to, if we needed to support the bereavement piece?
So I did get the perspective of one of our social workers. Since I spend more of my time on the education side of things, I did
Mm-hmm.
get a little bit more information about this from one of our social workers. So here's what he had to say about this. So one of the biggest misconceptions about grief is that it's someone's job to fix it, but it really isn't. It's our job to make sure people don't have to carry that grief alone.
Mm-hmm.
So one of the best tools that we know is learning how to stay present without rushing someone towards feeling better. So someone might have a tendency to say something like they're in a better place, or at least they're not suffering. But saying things like that usually comes from someone's discomfort around the topic, and it's not really understanding the grieving person's needs.
Mm.
So instead, we encourage people to get more curious about it. So we would ask, tell me about them, or what's something you think everyone should know about them. Grief isn't just about death, it's about love that has nowhere to
That's
go.
true. That's
So,
true.
yeah, when people are invited to tell these stories, they're reminded that the relationship didn't end, it just changed.
I like what you said. It didn't end, it just changed.
Yeah.
Wow, that's powerful. Yep, yep, yep. Thank you, Cindy. I because that's an area that I wish I did have specific tools, but everybody's journey is always going to be different.
Yeah.
And so, but if you had basic tools that you could use to support that person while they go through the grief pathway, that's good to know. Okay. Yeah. Um, Also, um, me and Gloria talk about it all the time. How do you get people to participate in support? Gloria, did you want to add anything on that? How can you get people to come or get on Zoom?
How do you get people back involved? I
Yes.
mean, it just seems like nobody is really interested on the topic cancer
Hmm.
unless, when they're going through, then it's there. But like the support groups, we don't have them coming back like they used to because it just seems like they're not that interested in, hearing about cancer or any of that information because they're not going through it. So it seems like they feel like that's not their problem. It'll never happen to them.
Yeah, so I've got a couple different perspectives. I got the social worker perspective and then kind of the health education perspective. So from like the social worker support group perspective, people don't come because they want a support group. They come because they don't want to feel alone anymore. So it could be that if someone's not showing up, then maybe they don't feel alone anymore. That could be. So often there's a fear that like a cancer support group is just going to be people sitting around crying, but the
Gossip.
reality is not that, not always. There are
Mm-hmm.
tears, but there's also laughter. There's like ridiculous stories. There's inside jokes. And
Yeah,
then moments when you say, oh, I thought that was just me. So the connection is where the intervention is. Once
Right.
people experience what it's like to be understood by someone who has walked down a similar path, then, they'll usually come back, not because they want the advice, but because they found their people. Um, and then from the health educator perspective, which is more of what I do, I would say with young people, it's not a challenge to get them involved. Mostly, right? I'm usually very impressed with how involved young people are in these conversations about health and cancer prevention. They have questions, they have opinions, they have things that they want to talk about. When it comes to their cancer risk, it's my job to get that conversation started and to make space for those questions. Um, yeah, so from the education
please.
side, I would say no, but from the support group side, um, yeah, it sounds like the presence there, that's what really
Mm-hmm.
helps people getting involved.
Mm-hmm.
It's almost like we feel like we should change it from support to, I don't know, get another name that'll pop. I mean, we are a resource and um, information also, not just a support group, but and then we make our support group where it's just like coming in, having a common conversation.
Mm-hmm.
We give everybody the opportunity to go around and tell their story if they choose to, or
Mm-hmm.
just to listen. But it's just like, my God, it's just like pulling the tooth or something. So I don't know.
Yeah, it's challenging. It is. It is. So I don't know what the answer is. But I was just curious, your numbers for the support um, side, is it ebb and flow, or do you
It
get at
does.
least 10 people or only one show up? So I mean, it varies,
It does. Yeah. It
yeah,
absolutely changes. And, I mean, who knows? Maybe they stop showing up because they feel better, or maybe they stop showing up because, they found that their neighbor has cancer and that they have something to talk about.
right,
Yeah.
right, right. Okay, absolutely. Um, and then how do you feel? We all can discuss this. How do you feel about um, education to others that is more inclusive to different communities and stuff? What's the best pathway to do that, or how are you doing that at this point? What's the best way to so we can get the education out there for prevention to everybody?
Um,
Going in the rural areas.
For me, it starts with listening. Um, I think people are really drawn to, people that work in the field that I do are drawn to it because of a desire to help people and to fix
Mm-hmm.
things, But I think that desire can be really limiting if we don't take feedback. And this is a lesson I got to learn every day. We learn so
Mm-hmm.
much by listening
Mm-hmm.
to the experiences of others. We're all human and we all share human experiences, but different communities
Absolutely.
have different needs. Like
Absolutely.
what works for me is not going to work for someone else. Um,
Mm-hmm.
so, for example, I do some work with the tribal communities in the South Sound region, and their needs are very different from like
Mm-hmm.
urban white communities, for example.
Mm-hmm.
So some elements of their culture, like they really prefer in-person communication. They don't want to do Zoom. They don't want to
Mm-hmm.
do internet. They want to do in person.
Mm-hmm.
They have a strong culture of elder respect, so
True.
trying to work with their youth, you really have to get the parents and the tribal elders involved. Tribal sovereignty, all of that stuff changes the way that we work with the tribes. So
Mm-hmm.
it's so important for us to listen to the individuals and the communities and then make changes as needed. It's
Mm-hmm.
not really our job to go into a community and to change them, but rather to give them
Right.
tools that are appropriate and relevant to them.
Absolutely. Absolutely. That's great. And I don't want to forget. I wanted you to when I looked at your email, I wanted you to talk about skin cancer in people with dark tones. What's the update on the education on that, and what's just enlighten us on that. I thought that was interesting.
Yeah, so we do have that initiative that we did last year with Fred Hutch. It's called the Sunset Initiative. I would be happy to connect your community with those resources. We've got them all prepared and ready to go online. And then we do also have these cards that you can hold in your hand, and it gives all these really good tips for how to recognize the signs of skin cancer on darker skin
Mm-hmm.
tones, right? So
Mm-hmm.
we know that some of the actually a lot of the images, the medical images on how to recognize skin cancer, it's usually on very light skin tones, right? So
Mm-hmm.
sometimes I do have students in the classroom who'll ask me, well, how do you recognize this on darker skin? So we had to look pretty far and wide to find some good images on how to recognize this on darker skin tones, but now we have some. So this is something we can definitely connect with you. Hopefully we can try to mail some out to you if you're interested. But
Okay,
either
yeah,
way,
that I would love that because one of my friends was saying, "Girl, you 75 now. You need to be putting that sunscreen on. You going out there in all that sun, and you not putting nothing on your skin. You better do that." So that's why I said, "Well, she's right. That's important,
Never
and we
really know.
forget. We
You don't
forget
know what
sometimes.
type. There's so many types of
That's true.
that
mhm,
out there. And when you go, it's just like, which one do I get? Do I get 40? Do I get 20? Do I?
mhm.
So it's very confusing. I mean, they tell you put on sunscreen, but they're not giving you the instructions on really how to do it. How long do
Right.
you have to put it on? Do you put it on
Mm-hmm.
once a day and it
Mm-hmm.
lasts, or, you know,
Well,
I
great
Yeah.
don't know.
questions. I can answer a couple of those questions for you
Okay.
right now.
Okay, go ahead, Cindy. I want to
Yeah.
hear this. Go ahead.
Okay. So regarding those numbers, the SPF on your sunscreen, I would say 50 SPF or higher is a good range to go. If you struggle with 50 SPF, then bare minimum 30 SPF or higher, but 50 is the magical number.
Okay.
I'm sorry, what was your other question? So the 50,
It's
oh,
just
like
like
how soon do
what
you put it on?
yeah, and what type? I mean, is there any certain brand? I know you can't name brands, but is there any certain ones that's better to start out with than another? And then I know you put it on your, there's one I see for your face, and then there's one for the rest of the body. Do you put this on once a day, or do you have to go back and reapply it throughout the day?
Yeah, so if you are going to be in the sun all day, you should apply every couple hours or so.
Oh,
Um,
I didn't know that. Oh,
yeah,
okay.
so you can
Hmm.
put the sunscreen on about 20 minutes before you're going to go out in the sun, and then it'll last you for a couple hours, but then you should reapply if you're going to be out in the sun all day. Regarding like the face and the body sunscreen, I mean, you could use the body sunscreen on your face, but what I've personally found is that it's thinner. The body sunscreen is thinner and it can leak into your eyes and it can sting. So the face sunscreen will be thicker, and if you
Oh,
apply it to your face, it's less likely to leak into your eyes or your mouth. And then the face sunscreens, they're often higher in SPF too, because your face sees so much of the sun when other parts of your body are going to see less of the sun.
mhm.
Well, I'm glad we having this discussion because I didn't know that it was important um,
It's
for
very
dark skin tones to
important.
prevent skin cancer. I didn't know that was an issue until I was talking to somebody, and then when I saw it in your email, I said, "Well, we need people of color need to know about that. That we need to protect our skin."
It's
One
actually
other
a
thing,
Washington issue as well. I think people in Washington think the clouds are going to protect us, but
Right.
they don't. They don't.
That's
We have some of the highest rates of skin cancer in the country.
I
We
did
have
not know that.
God.
pretty high rates. Yeah.
Oh
So
my God. Oh
So
wow.
what
wear
about the
sunscreen.
brown spots from the sun? If you have those brown spots, is there anything you can do for those, or is that related to the sun, or that's just something you have?
Yeah, so actually that's a really big part of our sun safety education. Like I have it on the website and in the cards.
Okay.
You can see it'll show you like one row of brown spots that are normal and healthy looking. And then it'll
Mm-hmm.
show you another row of what brown spots will look like if you need to have your dermatologist look at it. So generally if they're symmetrical, like one half looks like the other, if they're smaller than a quarter inch, like if it's smaller than the back end of your pen or your pencil, that's going to be fine. If it's not growing or changing very much, you're probably okay. But once you start to recognize that it is growing and changing, it is multiple colors, the edges are irregular, like it's not
Mm.
a regular shape, that it is asymmetrical. That's when you might want to have your family doctor look at it. And it doesn't need to be a dermatologist. Your family doctor can recognize the signs of skin cancer.
Okay. So Cindy, you say you have specific pamphlets and education in this area that you can um, send us
Yes, yeah,
or email.
we have resource cards that
Okay.
have all of this information on it for you, and we do have images of how to recognize signs of skin cancer in dark skin. We have that on our cards, so that's something we can
Okay.
get to you guys.
Okay. Yeah, I would love for you to send that information. I'll give you the address and stuff.
Yeah, that'd be great.
Yeah.
Yeah, we can chat after
You
this, and
could just
I can
group
connect
us
all the.
up.
I'm sorry.
I was just saying, if you could group us up some information and just send it, that would be really helpful on
Absolutely.
all,
Yeah, we can
yeah,
do that.
the
And
support.
on the
Yeah.
HPV, we didn't really get into that, but that area is one for the young people that really need to, and even adults need to know about the HPV part also.
Yes,
Yeah.
yeah. So yeah, we would be happy to partner with you and I mean at the very least if you and your community have this information and surely you have children, grandchildren somewhere in
Oh
your
yeah.
community,
Yep.
they would
Absolutely.
benefit from this. Yeah.
We would
Absolutely.
put it on our table, to our resource table, when we go out to different health fairs. We would put that information on there because we have all ages of people come through sometimes.
Sure
That would be
do.
That would be
fantastic. Yeah.
good to have on our table.
We would
Yes.
appreciate that very much. That would be great. Thank you.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Well, ladies, any other questions,
I
Gloria?
have another question. So, Cindy, how do you go by getting donations from Fred Hutch? Is there a special, you have to go online and apply, or is there someone you can talk to, or
Oh, like the grant, the
yeah,
Fred.
well, answer, yeah, because we're wanting to ask them for support for our annual event on November the 14th.
Mm-hmm.
It's an annual cancer event fundraiser that we have to resupply the things that we do throughout the year. So we're asking for donations, grants, anything. So I'm just wondering how you go by it, how we
Yeah. Who would
would
be your
apply for that.
contact person, or what department would you contact for that?
We connected with the Office of Community Outreach and Engagement. It's called OCOE. So you might try reaching out to them. I'm not 100% sure of like what the restraints are on this particular grant, but you could try reaching out to them and see if it fits your needs.
Okay,
Okay.
do you speak to a person or is that AI?
It's an application, but oh gosh, I don't know. The, I can connect you with the person that we work with, and then
Okay,
I'll see if that's a good fit.
okay,
Okay.
But yeah,
thank
I can
you.
connect you with her as well.
Sounds
Okay.
good.
Thank you, Cindy.
Thank you.
We appreciate it.
You've had
Um,
a lot of good information for
oh
us,
yes,
and
this was
I know you
excellent.
have even more
I'm
that
so
Yes.
glad. I'm so
we
glad
didn't
you.
get to. Yeah.
Yeah, excellent. Let me see if Mary, do you have a question? Any questions? Did she did she walk away?
Looking at your palm
No,
leaves
no,
growing,
very good
Ameedah.
information. She answered all my questions that I had. So
Yeah, because Mary was a school nurse, but she also, I think she taught health in the middle school.
I
You
did in the high
clarify that,
schools.
Mary. Hmm.
I taught health education in the high schools, in the
Hmm.
11th, 12th graders, and also the continuation high schools
Oh, that's
in
wonderful. I
Northern
love health class.
California. I know I enjoyed it.
Yeah.
Well, thanks, Cindy.
Yes, of course.
Yeah, this was
So
Oh,
if
awesome.
I might say one last thing, we're
Uh-huh.
always looking for ways to work with our community. So if anyone listening has ideas on how we can work together, how we can meet your needs, or if you have ideas on webinars, we're listening, we're open to ideas. So check out our website. You can sign up for our newsletter on our website and
oh,
follow us on
great.
socials.
Okay.
We're on Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, and YouTube.
Thank you, Cindy, because I was getting ready to ask you, uh, leave your contact information on the website. So repeat it
Okay.
again so they can have it. That's
Um,
all right.
So our website is cancerpathways.org. We have a lot of information on our website. Um, you can sign up for our newsletter on our website, and then that way
Okay.
you can get regular updates to your email about what we're up to. And then you can follow us on social media. We're on Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, and YouTube.
Okay. Awesome. Awesome. Well, if no one has any other questions, today we were privileged to have Cindy Miller from Cancer Pathways of Puget Sound. She gave us a lot of information, and I really like the team support uh, part. You guys are doing some great things working with the young people. So, Gloria, last call. Any comments, questions from you or Mary?
I think I asked everything, Cindy. If not, we'll be emailing you or calling you.
Great.
So
Absolutely.
I look forward to
Absolutely.
we
it.
Yeah,
we like to get
absolutely.
that connection to better. So yeah, we'll be talking, see
Yeah,
what we
Wonderful.
yeah.
can come
Yeah.
But
together and do.
We're
Yeah.
happy to have you
absolutely.
as community partners. Wonderful.
Absolutely. We
Thank you.
love being a community partner with you. And I will definitely email you so we can get that information on skin cancer for dark tone people.
People
That
is
that
Yes,
information
ma'am.
we really need to
Yes,
have.
ma'am. We can do that
So
for you.
once again, you have been listening to the Mahogany Show, and our guest has been Cindy Miller with Cancer Pathway of Puget Sound. We thank you, Cindy. We thank you for your time and your information.
Thank you so much
So,
for having me.
oh, absolutely. So everyone go out, stay cool, have a good day.
I want to get on that beach behind you, Amita. I want to
Oh,
walk on the beach with the palm trees blowing.
but I'm gonna have to be careful now. I have to put my sunscreen on.
You
I
got to
definitely
put
have
your
That's
to do
right.
that.
Yeah,
sunscreen
don't
on.
forget your sunscreen.
Absolutely. Yeah. All right, ladies. Thank you so much. Everyone have a great day. And you have been listening to the Mahogany Show podcast. Have a great
Thank
day.
you. Bye.
Thank you.